But for some of us, our sole focus on developing the best in others can also be a way of hiding out and avoiding showing up with our own best qualities. Might you be a shadow leader? Are you leading a bit of a shadow life? Are you aware that you might be hiding out somewhere? In another video, I talked about my friend Liz Trubridge's brilliance, which is helping draw out and weave together the brilliance of her team. She did this incredibly successfully as the executive producer of Downton Abbey, as well as many other TV series and films. But for some of us, our sole focus on developing the best in others can also be a way of hiding out and avoiding showing up with our own best qualities. I was involved in the Alternatives personal development program at St James's for close to 20 years. Alternatives is still today the top weekly platform in London. I ended up co-leading the program for several years in the late 1990s and getting to work with incredible leading names in the field such as Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Julia Cameron, Marianne Williamson, Anita Roddick, Wayne Dyer, Susan Jeffers, as well as many lesser known but equally good speakers and authors. It seemed like I was living the dream, hosting and meeting all these amazing speakers and authors, and yet I started to feel a nagging boredom, if you like, and even found myself making judgments about some of the speakers along the lines of, I've heard that before, that's not new, even I could say that, I could tell people that. I tried to ignore the feeling and told myself that I should be grateful for the incredible position that I had. But secretly, I began to fear that maybe my dream wasn't the right one after all. Either that, or maybe there was something really wrong with me, that I had my dream and I wasn't happy with that. Anyway, in 1996, I went on holiday to Lanzarote with my partner Helen, and I took with me one of Julia Cameron's books called The Artist's Way, which several people had recommended to me. Now, ostensibly, I took the book away so that I could type up some of the great quotes in it, which I could add to my growing collection of inspirational quotes. But as I was flicking through the book, I started to read the text more closely, and I was drawn to a particular short section that she called The Shadow Artists. As I read through those first few paragraphs, I was shocked. She seemed to have entered my mind and read it. She said, "Shadow artists often choose shadow careers, those close to the desired art, even parallel to it, but not the art itself. As a rule of thumb, shadow artists judge themselves harshly, beating themselves for years over the fact that they have not yet acted on their dreams. This cruelty only reinforces their status as shadow artists." As I read that, I had what I now affectionately call an "oh shoot" moment. I'd come such a long way, but it suddenly occurred to me that I was still living a bit of a shadow life. I was supporting inspiring and creative souls. I was supporting thought leaders, frequently leaders in their field, and often organising sold-out talks for them. But then it really began to hit me. I didn't want to be the one organising the talks for speakers anymore. I wanted to be the speaker. I didn't just want to support other authors. I was inspired to become an author. For a moment, I felt clear, uplifted and inspired. But that didn't last long. Then my resistance kicked in and I started to feel vulnerable again. Who the heck did I think I was? At that stage, I had begun to give a few talks and workshops, but I hadn't yet even tried to write a book. I couldn't see how I could ever make a living from speaking or writing. The gap between where I was and where I wanted to be seemed too massive to bridge. And who would want to listen to me or read my books anyway, when there were already so many other eloquent people out there? What was so special about me? How could I find a place in the world if I wasn't leading alternatives? Would I be nobody if I wasn't leading alternatives? But it kind of also made sense. Co-leading alternatives had been a wonderful training ground for me, but it was time to graduate. There was a new chapter waiting for me. However, I lacked the confidence to believe in myself and my own little voice inside that was encouraging me. I still felt less comfortable about investing in my own success and more comfortable investing in the success of others. I felt more comfortable living vicariously. I was more at ease when I was hiding out and allowing others to shine rather than thinking I could shine myself. But I could no longer deny that voice of inspiration, maybe the voice of the muse, which was yet again prompting me to move forward and write a new chapter in my own life. And as a result of that single insight, I began to step back from leading alternatives and instead focused on developing my own messages more clearly. And I started writing an outline for my first book. I started to show an outline of the book to publishers. One publisher said they would like to publish it, and the book came out in 1999 and eventually became a bestseller, and my world opened up. There was another path that had been waiting for me, but I had been afraid to step onto it. I had found the courage to step out of the shadows of my own life and show up with the best of me, rather than simply supporting the brilliance of others. So, might you be a shadow leader? Are you leading a bit of a shadow life? Are you aware that you might be hiding out somewhere? Is there something else calling you to show up more fully?